Hi folks, welcome here to WTSC. This is KnightChat. I'm Dan Devins. I have with me today the ever wonderful Ben Warner and Matthew Kinnicky. This is all sports all day long. Matt, kick us off with our first
I think it's
story.
for the next hour, Dan. Just saying.
Whatever.
Well,
I think about.
The first story we should talk about today, we're going to talk about something that just recently developed here at, we see on the website, 11 a.m. Mountain Standard Times. That's a couple hours.
So that's out in Colorado. That's like that area of the country.
So that's about 2 hours. So this was
probably
broke at about 1 o'clock, but they have announced the Patty Kazmar Award finalists for this year. And oddly enough, there happens to be a Clarkson Golden Knight on the list, and it is Jamie Lee Rattray.
No way.
She has made it into the top 3 along with Hannah Brandt, the sophomore forward for Minnesota, who now leads the country in points, just a couple more than Rattray. And also on that is Jillian Saulnier. A little bit of a surprising pick there. I would have put my money Kelly Babstock, but Saulnier, another ECAC forward, plays for Cornell, having a career year. So she's on the list. Those are the 3 finalists, and those are all pretty darn good players, but certainly a big thing for the Knights. Rattray on that list. Ambrose not going to make it into the top 3, but she was in the top 10, and with Rattray in the top 3, that just means, Clarkson's, they've been recruiting some good players, Rattray the best of those players, and she gets awarded with at least a top 3 showing. She'll be at the awards dinner sometime in late March here. Don't know exact date.
Down at Quinnipiac, so it's not too far.
Yeah, not too far of a drive at all. So she'll
Unless
be there.
If you're Hannah Brandt, she's got a little bit of a drive.
Yeah, Hannah Brandt, Minnesota. That's probably a little bit of a flight and a drive.
Just a little bit.
So for them, they will be there. A big season for Rattray, and of course we talked about how we'll talk about it now. She leads the Knights on Friday night against Dartmouth with 2 power play tallies that end up being the only goal scored in that game.
Yeah.
Help push the Knights to the 2-0 victory over Big Green and help them win the Friday night matchup. She didn't score in the Saturday night matchup, but she, as always, out there on the ice, a big part of the team. And just like that, Clarkson sweeps the Big Green and moves right on to the ECAC Hockey Championships, which will take place at none other than Chile Arena here this weekend. The men also play, so we'll update you with that right now.
Tell me now, right?
The schedule for this weekend, and we will be at every single one of these games. Friday.
Well, let's hope we're not at all of them. Let's hope we only have to go to 5 and not. How about that?
Okay, we'll hope for only 5 instead of 6, but every game that gets played will be there, so our weekends are pretty much shot. Friday night, the men play against Princeton, who travels up here. The 1-8 matchup in the 5-12 matchup.
5-12. But can you imagine being a Princeton Tiger this past week? You come up here to Chile Arena on Friday night, and you did a 3-1 loss. You let in 3 power play goals to the Golden Knights. And then if you go down the road, you go to Appleton, and you get kind of beat around down there 6-0. And then you got to drive all the way back to Princeton. That's a pretty long drive in a bus from Potsdam to Princeton.
Yeah.
And then Thursday you got to turn around and drive right back up here. Same thing this weekend.
That would not be fun.
It's a lot of miles.
Yeah.
A lot of traveling. A lot of unfun traveling.
Not fun traveling.
Yeah.
One, they already live in New Jersey, so it's like,
wow.
Ouch.
Ow.
It is Princeton.
Yeah.
Princeton's
whatever.
It's not like they're in Hoboken or something like that.
Hoboken.
Two, it's just like, they're gonna drive. I'd be curious to see which way they came up.
I feel I know which way they probably do come up.
Up through Binghamton and Syracuse.
I would imagine they probably come up up to Albany and then get that way and then come through Tupper. That's how I would do it if I came through New Jersey. You can come 2 ways to get to school from Virginia, and one of them involves New Jersey and the other one does not. Depends on where I want to go.
Either way,
but I drive right through Princeton on my way up.
It's just not fun.
No, it's not.
That's a lot of travel, and
it's a solid 6 hours.
And that's what
at least
having
minimum.
that home seed does for you, and it's just so amplified by the fact that Princeton had to travel, 7, 8, however many hours it takes to get up here from Princeton, depending on traffic and whatnot. They got to come up, they lose both games, and then they go back. couple of weeks or a couple of days, midterms are coming up too.
Yeah.
That's got to weigh heavy on your mind. And then all you got to do is come all that way back up again to play the same team that already has been you twice this year that you just lost to, and is getting their senior pin back. Ben Sexton
really?
has
Ben
been
Sexton
announced
is
to
back.
be back this weekend, which is huge news for the Knights on
That's so big.
three
news.
fronts. Face-offs where they struggled against Quinnipiac. Connor Jones was unbelievable in the dot.
Yeah.
He was winning face-off pretty much consistently throughout the night. So you got Ben Sexton back to match up on the best face-off man. You got him to build offense, and he plays on the penalty kill for you. Although Ben Sexton back in lineup is huge for the Knights.
It is a big bonus, but I don't think the Knights really played that badly without Sexton in against Quinnipiac. You could argue they probably should have won that. I mean, Jones got a nice goal there with the Hecty in front, but Perry kept them in that game. They had a nice goal from Pat McGinnity, and I mean that came a lot closer than the Knights. You could argue, really played their style of hockey the way they wanted to and kind of walked all over the Bobcats. And it was a 1-1 tie, but some people, I know many of the Pet Banders were saying it was so nice for Quinnipiac with the goal they got.
Yeah, and it's nice to see that we can hang with one of the top teams, and like you said, they really I think they dominated most of the game. There was a couple spots where Quinnipiac got upper hand, but they
played physical.
Yeah, they
on
played
a team
physical
that likes to play finesse.
Yeah.
But then, if you look at it, when we played Cornell, we played with finesse against a team that likes playing physical. Because if you try to go body on body with Cornell, you're gonna start warming up the ice bags around the middle of the first period because you're gonna be hurting there.
Certainly. Well, it was certainly. I don't think the Knights played their worst hockey without Ben Sexton, but it was very clear that they were missing a huge part of their team because of what he does for you in the face-offs and on the power play. Now, fortunately, the Knights were able to connect on the power play, only 3 times against the Tigers. We talked about how all of Friday night's action, both the women's and the men's team, all 5 goals, 2 for the women, 3 for the men, were all scored on the power play. The power play finally looked good after a couple of weeks where it really looked poor. I think that bodes well, especially since you get Ben Sexton back. That's just another piece you get to add back to that puzzle.
Yeah, he's a playmaker for sure.
Going to help distribute that puck to the guys that are scoring. And I think, Ben Sexton really saw his value here lately. There's been games that have been tight. Even in that Quinnipiac game, if Ben Sexton's in the lineup, I'm pretty sure the Knights they're a lot better offensively. They might end up with 1 or 2 more good chances on their sticks because of the type of player Ben Sexton is. And who knows, if one of those goes in, the Knights are looking at, a win there. And now it wouldn't have affected playoff seeding.
No.
But it would have been huge for momentum coming into this, this playoff stretch.
It would have been huge, but I think it's also huge to get him back. Something happens in that game where he comes back before he's ready, and he's sitting out extra time, so I think they made the right decision there. But we were just talking about, Friday, we're going to take on the Tigers. Saturday, though, is when things get nice and fun for us. 1 o'clock, it's the Clarkson Golden Knight women hosting the Quinnipiac Bobcats for semifinal game, #1 of the ECAC Women's Hockey Championship. And then following them at 4 o'clock, I guess it's going to be visiting Cornell, taking on Harvard, who will be hosting, quote-unquote. Of course, Harvard with a nice trip themselves, just the higher seed, so they the advantage of last change, not necessarily home ice. And then, of course, Saturday night is Game 2 of the men's action, trying to fight that quarterfinal spot to go on to take on, if the Knights win, they get automatic, ticket down to Ithaca to take on the Big Red. And if Prince were to come away with the win on the weekend, they get to go visit Red Hot Union, who's a team I don't think anybody wants to punch a ticket to their arena at this point in time.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure no one wants to play the Knights at home either.
Yeah.
Right now,
I think playoffs is you don't want to play anywhere that's not your home.
Right now, Clarkson on the 18 game winning streak, or unbeaten streak. Excuse me, 15-0-3. That we keep saying it. All this semester have yet to lose a hockey game, which is incredible. We're gonna hope they could probably keep it up. That would be a as effective as we could hope. If they can keep up, right now they've got a huge chance against Quinnipiac, who's the 4th seed and who gave it some trouble, but certainly a team that we saw them beat in Quinnipiac. And then Harvard Cornell, 2 teams that have beaten and lost to the Knights, so the playoffs shaping up here. Not really any team has the advantage talent-wise, I'd say. I think all 4 teams are really super talented. I think right now the Knights are really, because that unbeaten streak and they're playing at home, and because they pulled out their season title, they're probably the favorite.
I would definitely say that they're the favorite coming into the weekend. If you look at the last few weeks of the teams,
it's been Princeton,
especially Harvard and Cornell.
They had hard rides to get through the quarterfinals.
They
struggled.
And if you look at the weekend before that, they both struggled.
Yep.
So last couple weeks, both of those teams.
I would watch out for Quinnipiac.
Oh yeah, Quinnipiac
they're the dark horse right now.
They are
kind of under the radar.
They are definitely under the radar, and they're going to be a great test for the Knights come Saturday afternoon in that game. And I think it'll be fun to watch. And I'm hoping that our Patty K finalists can come through.
I mean, if you think about it, if you go back to the top 10 finalists, you got 5 of the 10 Patty K top 10 finalists in this game. You got Emrys Mashmeyer, who's going to play goalie for Harvard. She's been pretty good. I think that's fair to say.
Yeah, she certainly stole the show from the Knights when Harvard came here to visit, came out with a 2-0 victory. The Knights put some 30-odd shots, and Mashmeyer turned them all away. She looked phenomenal in that game. I think that's the only game the Knights have been shut out in this, they had a shutout. They got shut out against North Dakota as well. But those are the only 2 games where the Knights have been left off the scoreboard, and you talk about the Knights offense averaging 3.6 goals a game. If you can keep them to 0, you know you're doing something right.
If you look at it, though, that was the time they lost at home, and last time they lost at home in conference, where there are 2 shutouts. I think if you want to win, you got to shut the Knights down. And in order to shut them down, you literally have to keep off the scoreboard, because once they start scoring, they find a way to do it again and again.
Jefferson certainly gets goals in bunches, and that comes from the fact that even if the first line is out there and they're struggling a little bit, you've got the second line that can come right out with Carly Mercer at center. And even if they're struggling, you still have the third line, which, Lambert centers. Now, they're not the most offensively talented, but we've seen them over some games, especially the weekend where Lambert had her hat trick. That line was the best for the Knights. They were just pouncing on every loose puck. They were cycling it so well. I mean, even that third line for the Knights can do damage. So it's not just about top-end scorers. It's about the talent throughout the lineup, that even if the first line isn't going, the second line isn't going, the third line should be going. That third line can match up with a lot of really good, talent. They can certainly play offensive or defensive role. I mean, that's also considered if you could shut down the first line, which no one has been able to do this year.
Of course, you're listening to NightChat here at WTSC. A couple guys coming over from WCKN doing a simulcast on YouTube. I'd like to say thank you to the guys here at WTSC for letting us use the equipment and going out over the radio waves. Of course, we're talking about how Jamie Lee Rattray now a top 3 finalists for the Patty K. There's 5 girls coming in this weekend as finalists for the Patty K. The women's tournament is getting pretty excited, but the men's side, I'd say, is probably just as exciting as they get ready to go into the first round of the playoffs. Of course, everything this weekend will be coming to you from WCKM. We'll be putting it out on some medium or another. Friday and Saturday, all the games are going to be going out over America 1. And, of course, on Sunday, we're all getting ready for it, going out for ESPN 3 with the championship game of the ECAC Women's Championship again.
Yeah, should be fun.
Yeah,
I'm excited.
I think we're all excited. It's all sort of the light at the end of this tunnel that is midweek.
So let's do a little bracketology.
Bracketology?
All right, about this weekend.
Weekend.
Do they have? Let's see. What other tournaments are going on this weekend? Are there any other
for the women? Or for the men?
Yeah, for women, men. Any other?
We can go through the first round of the men, and as far as the ECAC is concerned,
let's start with the women now.
Okay.
The ECAC women.
ECAC women. You got it.
It's pretty easy at this point.
So you got.
So you're asking
Clark.
Who's playing in the game on Sunday?
The game on Sunday.
The game on Sunday. Well, I'll give you my answer since I've thought about it a little bit. I'm going to take the Knights over Quinnipiac. I think it's going to be a tight game.
Yeah.
I like Quinnipiac's
Agreed.
team a lot. Babstock is an amazing player. Also an amazing player is Darkangelo, who no one seems to talk about. But got here, we looked at her stat line, and then she ended up scoring a beautiful goal in that game. It was really impressive. I think Quinnipiac can again give the Knights some problems, but I think the Knights will learn from their mistakes from that last game where they took their foot off the pedal. They slowed down a bit in the third period, up 3-1, and they let Quinnipiac get back into that game, and they came away with a 3-3 tie. I think the Knights will come away with something like a 4-2 win with possibly an empty netter. I think Quinnipiac has the talent to score on the Knights, but I just don't know. I don't think there's a lot of teams that have the defense to totally slow down the Clarkson offense.
Dan, go for it. Pull my teeth in last.
I definitely think I would definitely agree. Quinnipiac is going to be a very tough fight. The speed might become an issue. We're not the fastest team in the in the world, and Quinnipiac they're pretty quick.
Pretty quick, yeah.
And so that'll contribute to their success. They're also playing a hot hand right now. You know, they came off a big win.
2 big ones over St. Lawrence.
Well, 2 big wins over St. Lawrence, but 2 ago, they beat Cornell, right?
Yep.
And that was huge. That's how we took the
First place.
place in the UCAC. So I think that they're coming to their own, and I'm still gonna go with the Knights because of this senior class. They are on fire right now, and they are just all playing so well, and they truly just want it, and I don't think that they'll allow Quinnipiac to come into our building and beat them up.
Yeah, I think Clarkson has enough talent and grit and heart to stay with Quinnipiac, and Quinnipiac rightly so with Clarkson as well. But I think if you that as far as pushing the gas pedal and getting that last little bit of gas out of the tank, I think Clarkson's got the edge there. They might have like a 18-gallon tank instead of like a 17.5-gallon tank probably Quinnipiac has. So I think they come out late. As far as the other game is concerned, that the 4 o'clock game, I personally think it's going to be Harvard walking away with that one. I think Smashmeyer plays a big role in the net. I know Cornell is potent on offense, but then you also have to look back at Sarah Edney playing defense for Harvard. She plays great. She shuts top players. And the goalie thing that's been going on, Cornell, has been kind of weird. I mean, we saw Paula Voorhees got the start when she was here, and usually see Slobodnik start. And while Slobodnik is a great goaltender, I just think if you look goaltender to goaltender, that Emmerich Smashmeyer has the advantage. So I call Harvard.
I'd definitely say that.
2-1. My call.
Yeah, Mashmeyer definitely played a big role in the game. She was a Patty K nominee, right? Both of these teams, I really think it could go either way. It really depends on which team shows up the most, because they've both had some tough weekends, and they might. I don't know. To me, it's kind of
It's a toss-up.
Yeah, it's a toss-up.
Well, that'll lead me into my 2 points against one against Harvard, one against Cornell. Cornell, for one of the first times, really sort of lost grip of the ECAC towards the end of the regular season, and a couple of back-to-back losses. Really, that's what sort of did them in there against Quinnipiac, and I think it was Yale, were the 2 losses they had. And similarly for Harvard, who had sort of rolled along throughout the season, played some tight games, they played some big-time matchups, and they were right there, and they didn't do what they needed to get done, and they ended up, I think, 2nd or 3rd in ECAC. And then in the playoffs, Harvard took a huge stumble against Yale. Couple of double overtime games that the first one, Harvard lost. They lost the Friday night game. You rarely see that. The team coaching very rarely uses that opening game series, but then they had to come back and play again 2 hard-fought matchups, Saturday and then Sunday afternoon. And right now, even though Cornell sort of stumbled a little bit at the beginning of at the end of the season, I'd say right now I would give my nod to Cornell because of Jillian Saulnier. Not to say that Harvard doesn't have the good players. I just think right now Cornell's a little more composed heading into the playoffs. Harvard is still a young team. Talk about Mashmeyer, still only a sophomore, though she's played a whole lot of games. But right now it seems like Harvard's more tripping over their own feet a little bit too much, and I think Cornell will probably come out with the win there.
And go through the stat sheet from last weekend. Friday night, Mashmeyer got the stat sheet. It was a 3-2 loss in double overtime. And then they gave it to Brianna Lang for the next 2 games, and she was able to come away with a 3-2 win in double overtime for Harvard, and then with a 4-0, handily getting rid of the Bulldogs there. But Lang got the second 2 starts, and she's now 7-0 on the season. But Mashmeyer really saw more of the time, and I think she's probably the more experienced goaltender. But I'm stick with my gut and go with Harvard. On the men's side, though, we can run through that if you guys would like. So,
well, I got it right here. We'll start with the 8-9 matchup. That is Brown at St. Lawrence. Now, Lawrence turned it on towards the start of the second semester there, but sort of have fallen off a little bit. They were very slow out of the gates to start the year, but they had some, good matchups. And we obviously know the story about St. Lawrence. They're not going to play a whole lot of defense. They're going to try to outscore you in a run-and-gun kind of game. We saw it bite them against Quinnipiac when the Cats were able to put a hurting on them. But now they play a team, Brown, that also plays a little bit of a run-and-gun game. They've got some good players there in Champini. Very good player, recently named Player of the Month, I think.
Champini. What do you mean?
He is?
Yeah. Okay.
Who am I thinking of?
What happened? I'm trying to think of who you're thinking of. Oh, what he wears. He wears the 11.
Oh,
Can't
wow.
think of his name. Laredo.
That's
Matt
it.
Laredo.
Matt Laredo. That's the guy I was thinking of. He's still very good.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Brown.
So is Champini.
Yes. But obviously those are still some pretty good players. But in what's probably going to be a very offensive game, who do you got, Dan?
Who do you got for the series? How about that?
Yeah,
Call the series and how many games.
Call me the series. How many games? Who comes away with it? It's at St. Lawrence.
Who gets the series winner?
Just
We'll do that too. Series winning goal.
I don't know. So we have what?
Do you not watch the same games that Matt and I watch up in the booth?
Well, I don't know. St. Lawrence has a good team, and I don't know if I particularly want to root them, but I think they might take it, and they'll probably go to 3 games. I would say.
I can see it going to 3 games.
Yeah,
I would.
definitely could go to 3 games, but
ultimately, if you ask me, I think if it turns into run and gun, it's really a big toss-up there. I mean, Wenninger has had moments, but then he's also had moments where he seems not comfortable at all in that. Like the game that Clarkson played, at St. Lawrence, to come out at the start of that second period and be up 2-0 and give up 3 goals and end up losing the game 3-2. He did not look very good in that game that Clarkson played against him at home. But Wenninger has his ups and downs, and I think when Wenninger has a game where he's on, he's really looking good.
So you're going to take St. Lawrence.
I'm going to take St. Lawrence in 3 with the game-winning goal on the stick of Vin Bayreuther on the power play.
Ooh. Very specific.
I
Would you
don't
like
know.
to say time is left on the clock?
No.
Okay.
I would say I'll give Lawrence in 3 with a game winner on one of the Carolers.
Which one?
Doesn't matter.
I didn't want to go with Kerry Bourbon.
Well,
Yeah,
yeah, I think as much as it hurts, I'll also take St. Lawrence. I think the offense they bring, they showed it against Princeton with the shutout victory. I think the St. Lawrence team is still very good. They've had ups and downs here, much with their goaltender. But I think they'll come away. I definitely think that's going to 3 games. I'm sure Brown can muster some up to make it rather close. I'm going to take... Well, I'll take a Greg Carey overtime winner on Sunday.
Ooh.
I think it's that close.
Wow.
That it's going to be...
Let me guess, you're going to call it a shorthanded one? No? Okay.
I think it'll be that close that it could go to an overtime game on Sunday to decide, and it wouldn't surprise me if Greg Carey steps up in a way that he usually gives to for the Saints. He certainly shoulders the offensive load for them, and I certainly think he could be a guy that could.
You could argue Wick maybe on the power play too. He got a lot of power play goals this season. Anyway.
Well, almost everyone on that Saints team seems to have a lot of power play goals.
Yeah, their power play is pretty good.
The power play is,
all right,
is nasty. All right, next, the 10-7 matchup. Dartmouth, the 10th seed, at the 7th seed, the RPI Engineers. Dang.
I want to say...
I really hate going with our rivals, but I might have to choose RPI next one.
I'd like to say RPI, but then again, Dartmouth, when they got their captain back, they walked in here and they did some good things, and they had a bit of a streak going. So Dartmouth has some momentum rolling in, and RPI just got shut down last weekend. So I'm gonna have to still go with the Engineers at Houston Fieldhouse, and it goes to 2 games. I think game 2 is the close one. I think RPI goes out and deals with Dartmouth Friday night, and then Saturday Dartmouth looks for redemption. RPI comes back and gets them late in the 3rd period, and I want to say Brock Higgs gets the game.
I'm not even going to attempt a game winner because I don't know anybody on that team. But I would say I think that's close to what will happen. Definitely. I think RPI take game 1 like the higher seed, mostly good, and then Dartmouth will come in and try to do their best. They'll probably be tied going into the 3rd, and it'll stay tied for most of it, and then late game, desperation time, come up, and I wouldn't be surprised if it went into overtime on Saturday night.
Well, I'm going to go against you guys. I'm going to go with a Dartmouth victory in 3 games.
Can I guess? You're going to guess?
Go right ahead.
Are you going with Operman?
I am not.
Sakura.
I'm not going with Operman. I'm not going with Sakura either.
Who are you going with?
I'm going to go with Eric Neely. Score. He was mighty impressive.
Went there with Operman and Sakura.
Yeah, he was mighty impressive. I thought he was very good when they played here. He was certainly one of the reasons they were going to come away with such a big-time win. For me, I think Dartmouth has been hot as of late, and I think RPI has had some problems. They've sort of cooled off a bit. I think if RPI is going to come away victorious, they're going to need big things from Scott Diebold and Ryan Haggerty. But I just think Dartmouth it's surprising that they're that low in the standings to me. When we saw them here, they certainly didn't look like it. Of course, Clarkson looked like a team that really, they didn't look like they deserved to be out on the ice with Dartmouth, because Dartmouth came in and they skated all around the Knights. But Clarkson's rebounded. Dartmouth has used that to propel themselves to a good finish. And I'll take the Big Green in 3. Winning goal on the stick of Eric Neely sometime 3rd period of that Sunday afternoon game.
All right. And then moving on, that leaves one matchup left. It's Harvard at Yale. I believe it's the... What does that leave? The 6-11. Yeah. 6-11.
Harvard 11, Yale 6. Who wants to start us off?
Okay. Why not? I think Yale is poised to make a decent run like they did last year. I don't think they'll make it out of ECAC tournament, but I think they will make a deep run in the tournament as far as ECAC is concerned. And I think they just have too much power for Harvard. Harvard hasn't really shown a lot of firepower offensively. They play nice defense. But aside from that Jimmy C line out there, I'm not 100% that Harvard can keep up with the talent that Yale has. And I think that either Augustino or Root getting the game winner as in 2 games.
I will follow those exact sentiments with nothing more, because that's just about as much as I feel about it as well.
And I think Alex
Harvard
Lyon plays a big role in that.
Yeah, Harvard has one really great line. That line was dangerous when we saw them play here, but other than that, it just seemed like Harvard was rolling guys to give VZ and Malone and Hart a breather on the bench. That's what it seemed like to me. I feel like Yale has the better all-around team, and I think Yale will come out with that probably in 2. I'd say 2 games for Yale to come away against Harvard. And I would say Augustino gets the game winner. He's a very impressive kid, obviously drafted and now traded to the Pittsburgh Penguins, or Penguins to the Flames. He was a big part of that Jerome McGinley deal.
Yep.
All right, so Harvard, were they the one that whomped on us, or that was
Dartmouth. They beat us 1-0 in overtime.
Came away with the 1-0 win
with like 14 seconds left in overtime.
I don't know. I'm gonna go with. I might choose Harvard. Hey. There's got to be an upset. There's got to be an upset. You know. Let's think about it. Like Yale's coming in. They're the defending national champions, right?
Yep. Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
I think they have a banner up in the rafters somewhere.
I think they're the defending national champions, and they're gonna take Harvard as, you know, who the hell are we playing, or heck are we playing right now? Like, no big deal. Whatever. And I think that they could come away with something. I definitely think that it'll go to 3 games. It could. If Yale doesn't come to play on Friday night and Harvard kind of beats up on them, it could then come. But you know, I'll go against you guys. Choose the underdog. 'Cause why not?
Dan Devon's picking Harvard.
All right. So, presuming, okay, we'll move on. You know, we all think Larson's going to come away against Princeton. I think that was the general consensus. I mean, we really didn't cover that one, but we talked about it earlier.
That's the general.
Okay, general consensus. So they would go on to play Cornell in the next round. And I don't know how I feel about that.
I feel pretty good about it.
I mean,
I'd much rather play Cornell than either of the other 3 teams.
I would absolutely. I would absolutely.
I would like to play
agree.
Colgate.
I don't want to play Colgate. You guys know why. I had my little rant about how much I like Colgate.
Yep. I mean, Colgate's looked good, but they hadn't.
Well, they're only the number 2 seed in the conference. So.
I think Colgate has more holes that you can exploit than Cornell does. I think Cornell has a lot of talent that's all over the place, and their talent that's all over the place is, you know, something that'll beat you line after line after line after line after line. Where Colgate plays well as a unit, and if you can get, you know, 1 or 2 guys off their game, the unit falls apart.
See,
I don't know how you become second in the UCAC with a team like that.
Yeah, I think Colgate's a very good team. I think they're going to surprise a lot of people in the tournament. Right now, they're probably the team that's got the best chance of beating Union. I think Quinnipiac's very good, but I think we saw it. If you can play physical against Quinnipiac, they start to get frustrated. They were very frustrated with the Knights. They didn't have the open space, and, you know, Clarkson's not even the best defensive team in the CAC. A team like Union is going to exploit that all night long. Got big bodies that they can throw up against those guys, and to me, I think Colgate is probably the best offensive team all around with depth. I think Quinnipiac, we saw, if you can contain that first line a little bit and get them frustrated, everyone else sort of gets thrown off their game a little bit. I think Colgate's a really good team. I think they're going to go far in the tournament, if not win it, and they should have an NCAA tournament berth, at least in my opinion.
I don't know. I can't see that. I can't see them really beating Union. I don't know. I would definitely say that Quinnipiac's gonna give them the biggest one. Just because they're a big team, and so is Union. That's just the style of hockey that Union plays. It's physical and it's big. And I think Quinnipiac will have a better shot at them. Not that I would want to play Colgate, just because they're kind of like they haven't been in the number 2 for
They've
very
been
long.
up there for a while now. I mean, I think Cornell has a little bit of a bad taste in their mouth, though, from that early overtime winner we had over them, 3-2.
Yeah.
And then we took them late in third period. Excuse me, it wasn't an overtime winner. It was a late third period winner from McPherson, like 45 or 46 seconds left. But then, of course, nothing happened there. We played a tough game, of course. At that point, that was right as we were missing a couple big guys in the lineup, like Joseph and Zarbo. Some guys who had been hurt. I think they can hang with Cornell, but I think that series is another one that goes to 3 games. And I think the winner somehow in game 3 comes out, and they're going to have to soak in the ice bath for the next week before they go to the semifinal
yeah.
game.
No, I would definitely agree. I like the matchup better for the Knights against Cornell because they've been able to beat them this year. They haven't beaten Union, didn't beat Colgate. They kept it close with Quinnipiac, and that's always an advantage. But Cornell's the only team they've beaten in both games close. Cornell just barely was able to pull away late. I like the way that the Knights will play with speed against Cornell, like you said earlier. And I like the matchup there a lot more because of the familiarity between the teams. Cornell's got a very senior squad at this point that the Knights are used to seeing, and I think that gives them a little bit of advantage. I would say the Knights can certainly go down there and win themselves a game. It would just be, could they steal a second one and move on to the semis?
Yeah, especially going down to Ithaca, that'll be a trek and you never like going down to those big rival schools. I know that when you get us in Ithaca, you get our pep band down there. Things just
They don't like it.
they don't like
They don't like it at all.
They don't like us, and well, it's good. I think it's to our advantage. They don't like us, but it'll be fun to watch, and I think cool. We can definitely come away with something there.
I think the Knights have a good chance to make a decent push here this year. I think
Yeah.
it's the best chance we've had since I've been here, at least. I mean, that year with Karpowicz, it was heartbreaking to get ousted in the first round by RPI. But I think one thing that I'll take away forever from my freshman year was just the length of that game 2 with the 3 overtimes and the stuff you hear about afterwards about Paul Karpowicz. They thought he had fluid in his knee, and they cut open before the game and stitched him back up, and he played that whole game with a knee that had just been sliced open and had some fluid taken out of, and he goes for 6 periods.
Yeah.
I think, if you're ever gonna say somebody doesn't have heart, I don't think you could say it's Paul. But just looking at that degree of the first round of the ECAC playoffs,
Yeah.
I think that sets tone, or at least it has for me over all these years, of what I know I'll be getting into when I go down to the rink on Friday night to watch the first round.
Yeah. Oh yeah. This place is going to be rocking.
I mean, it would have been a shame, though, had it turned out in some miraculous way that we would have played St. Lawrence in the first round. Like, it looked like it was a possibility.
Yeah.
That would be crazy. I mean, you'd have this building packed 5,000 people for 3 games.
It would be insane. Absolutely. There would be
A lot of people.
just having that seeing that kind of atmosphere. It's already going to be nuts this weekend. There's so much hockey going on. Shield is going to be buzzing all weekend long. So if you haven't bought your tickets yet,
It's probably too late.
it might be too late. I don't know.
I know for the women's game, though, it's $4. That's
Yeah.
$4 to see 4 of the top 7 teams in the country come play.
Yeah.
$4. if you can't find $4, come find me in the press box. It's $4.
Yeah. But yeah, so just playing Princeton. It's still gonna be rocky, and I'm looking for. I love the playoffs. Who doesn't love the playoffs? Playoffs?
Yeah, it's the playoffs for a reason. It's the ECAC playoffs, which makes it all that much more exciting because on both sides, the winner gets the automatic berth into the NCAA tournament. Right now, the women at least look like that if they don't come away with that, but I know they want to. They're looking at an NCAA tournament bid, and the men really need a good showing here in the EACs to try to find themselves in an at-large or through some miraculous maybe they win it and they would get the automatic bid, but certainly the ECAC tournament now, it's all playoff hockey. One more reminder about the schedule. Friday, men play Princeton in the first game of that series at 7 p.m. to kick off the men's ECAC playoffs. Then on Saturday, it's going to be a doozy.
Oh, yeah. I'm going to be tired. I gotta get some Dr. Scholl's to ring shoes.
Gotta stand.
So tired.
We gotta be up at. I'm thinking. Well, if I can sleep Friday night.
You gotta be up at 9.
We'll be up
9 at the latest.
9, maybe 10. I might get 10. Get down to the rink. We gotta be there by at least 12 to be ready for it all. Cause the first game is at 1, and that's Clarkson-Quinnipiac. The women's side, the semifinals get kicked off there, followed by the second semifinal at 4 o'clock. Cornell and Harvard taking on each other at Cheal. 2 winners then move on, but that's not all the hockey there is on Saturday. The men then play at 7:30 Saturday night against Princeton in the second game of their series. If those games, happen to go one piece, then the men will play again Sunday at 4, and
at 7.
At 7.
Excuse me.
7.
They wanted to play at 4, but Casey Jones loves to play at 7.
To play at 7.
Night hockey. That's the way it is.
But
before that,
ESPN 3, we will be going at 1 o'clock for the women's championship game.
You can log on. I think it's ESPN.co. Something.
I would just say Google ESPN 3, and you'll get there.
Yeah. You just need to sign in with your cable subscriber, and then away you go.
But while we're on the topic
you'll get to see our beautiful faces and our brand new revamped production.
Yeah. Well, we'll have that all weekend. So.
Yeah.
Anyway, the one thing I would like to pose, as we have 2 minutes left here, the Knights on side were projected to finish dead last, and they finished at number 5. Had a chance to finish at 4. The way they started this first season, they could have finished as high as 2-1 the way they were playing.
Yeah.
Do you think Casey Jones should be going up for ECAC Coach of the Year?
Oh, absolutely. Show me a coach who has brought their team to a better situation this year.
I don't think there is.
Maybe Colgate's coach?
Possibly.
I don't know. Where did Colgate finish last year?
We'll have to.
Colgate was about mid-ranked.
They were middle of the pack.
They were middle of the pack, but
they were nothing special. But they were still. They must have been at least projected to finish somewhere in there. When you're projected to finish dead last, and you almost get a bye in the first month, like we were. The reality of the situation is we were 2 wins away. We win two of the close games that we had. We're not playing hockey this weekend.
And I would be upset because I have a plane ride to Florida Friday, and I'd be missing out on the,
Do you know
first action.
You know that if we host, we can end up with a game next Saturday. The women can end up a game next Saturday.
They could.
Yeah.
Yes, they could.
The first of the NCAAs.
The first round of NCAAs, if they're in the top 4 seeds, the game would be here at the college campus. I won't be here.
Well, alrighty then. I'm going to be here. If that happens.
If something happens, Matt will be here.
I will be here. I will be casting by myself.
I bet you Bob will go on with you.
Yeah, there we go. All decided. But yeah.
Or you can go on with Bob one too.
Bob will be on with me.
Well,
This is you.
My stage.
Matt's time to shine.
Yeah. Well,
Anyway.
so back to your discussion, I think Casey Jones, if he's not the front runner, he's certainly in consideration. I think you could get it to Don Vaughn of Colgate because of what he's been able to do with a team that, again, wasn't projected to fit that high, but one that, sort of weaseled their way into the top 2 seeds.
Now, hang on. Did you know Colgate's coach's name, or did you have to go look it up?
I had to go look it up.
Okay, that's one thing I wanted to know because I didn't. So.
You can see it right here. I looked it up.
I see.
Yeah. Want to know their office phone, email?
No, I think we're
assistant?
okay. I know a couple head coaches from around the ECAC. Colgate's not one of them.
Colgate's not.
I know.
But he certainly has done a very good job to get this team where it is, and get it into the top 4 leads. There's only 4 playoff buys, and he was able to get one of them. So I think he's probably up there, and I would assume Union's head coach.
Oh, no way.
I
Rick-
have to
No
say
way.
Rick Bennett would
Rick
certainly.
Bennett's in the conversation, and I think you could say Rick Technol is up there
I
as
don't know.
well.
I don't know. When I think of like the coach of the year, I think of the guy who
Rallied the troops.
Yeah, he rallied the troops. He coached his team and got them into a position where they could win every single night. And I think that's exactly what Casey does, or did this year.
Well, I think one thing that might hurt Bennett's candidacy
Is that brawl?
is brawl.
Oh,
that
yeah.
he
With
happened,
effort?
he happened to get suspended for. But how can you not put him in the conversation? His
But
team,
if
they,
you look at
they
Union,
clinched
like,
before that weekend of
yeah,
it.
whatever. They were in a similar situation last year,
That's
right?
This is true.
Well, that's
They-
still good coaching.
It's still good coaching.
It's
yeah.
still good
They're-
coaching.
they're-
But
they-
typically, coach of the year goes from the coach who fought through what was assumed to be the worst situation to make the best out of it.
If he doesn't get it, there
And I
better
think
be
Casey gets it.
if he doesn't get it, there better be a really good reason why.
You heard it here first. If Casey Jones does not get ECA's Coach of the Year, Dan Devers is going to make heads roll.
Oh yeah.
Okay. Well, that's all the time we have this week here on Night Chat. There's 5 games from Chile Arena this weekend. Stop by, watch a game or 2 or 3, maybe
Or
5,
4,
possibly
yeah.
6 if there are 6. Who knows? Watch however many you want to watch.
Yeah.
But it will be great hockey. We'll be there all weekend, and we will see you guys next week here on Night Chat on 91.1 WTSC.
The source.
Was Gucci? Was Gucci? Turn off the mic.